Hello everyone, welcome to another geometry lesson. Today we will be doing some energy geometry questions. Energy geometry of circle and energy geometry of straight lines or quadrature. So let's start with this question number 4. In the diagram, the equation of the circle centered at n, negative 12 and 5 is x squared plus y squared plus 25x minus 10y plus 153 equals to 0 is given. The other equation centered at n, also equation is given as x plus 6 squared plus y plus 3 squared equals 25. PS and PR are tangents in the circle. PR is parallel to the x-axis, K is negative 17 and negative 5. The point on PS straight line joining N and M cuts the small circle at P and the larger circle at S. So write down the coordinates for N. As you can see, the N is how many marks is that? 2 marks. From the equation of the circle, you can already see that the x value which makes this bracket 0 will be our x coordinate. The y value which makes this bracket 0 will be our y coordinate of the center. So 4.1 for a 2-mark question will have negative 6 and negative 3. So 2 marks for the coordinates. 4.2.1 length of the radius of the smaller circle. So smaller circle equation is equation of the length. So we'll have to rewrite the equation in terms of like x minus a square plus y minus b square. Then our equation given as x square plus 24x. In order to complete the square here, I need to add 24 divided by 2 square, which is 144 plus the other one is y square minus 10y, and the number to be added here is 10 over 2 square is 25 is equal to, we took 153 to the other side as negative 153. Now we added 144 and 25 on this side, so we must add those two numbers on the other side as well as 169. 144 plus 25 is 169. So from this, x plus 12 square plus y minus 10 square is equal to 16. Right, you can see the coordinates of negative 12 and 10. Not supposed to be 10, supposed to be 5. Because square root of 25 is 5. It's supposed to be 5. Okay. X plus 12 square is multiplication of this trinomial here. Y minus 5 square is multiplication of this. Then from this, R is equal to 4. Okay, why it is 2 marks? Normally, if centers, coordinates of centers were not given, then this is what you need to do. But this is 2 marks because of the coordinates are given. So coordinates are given means x plus 12 square plus y minus 5 square. You already know this part from the coordinate of center. The negative 153 is on this side. So in order to get the radius, you must add here 169. Then in order to get radius, that's a 16. So r would be square root 16, which is equal to 4. Okay, but if you learn this way, then you can both get the coordinate of the center and the radius at the same time. 4.2.2 length of the radius of the smaller circle. We got that length of TS. Length of TS is see that the equation of this circle with center M is given as -6 and -3 from the previous question. And we know that if R square is 25, then this would be here 5 units. So we can see that Sm is equal to 5 units. And also we can find out the coordinate of the distance between N and M. So if you apply the distance formula, Nm square will be equal to, we know the coordinates, the -12 plus 6 square plus 5 plus 3 square. If you apply distance formula here, Mn will be equal to 6, 8, 10. So it's going to be 10 units. This is 10 units. So what is the radius of the circle with M? 16 that we found here, and P was 4. So you can see that from that Ns will be equal to 10 minus 5, 5, and Ps will be equal to 5 minus 4, which is equal to 1. Okay, 4 marks. So 1 mark for substituting into distance formula, 1 mark for finding Mn, 1 mark for finding Sm is 5 units, and 1 mark for answer. 4.3.1 determine equation of tangent. So you'll always see this question here, analytical geometry of circle, equation of tangent. You need gradient of tangent, MP, and a point with coordinates. Okay, let's check for those. Tangent PR. Do we have a point on PR? What we're saying? PR is a tangent, so that means the angle between MR and the tangent line is 90 degrees. So coordinates of R would be, since it is 90 degrees here, it is parallel to the y-axis. So x coordinate will be -6, and y coordinate will be, since it is 5 units, -3, 5 units down, -8. So coordinates of R will be here, 4.2.3, 4.3.1. Coordinates of R would be -6 and -8 because of tangent perpendicular to the radius. And from this, since this is a horizontal line, then you can get the equation of that here, y is equal to -8, because that's going to be equal to y coordinate of R. And then next question is determine the equation of tangent PS. For tangent PS, we can find out gradient of Sm or Nm, which is same as. So let's find out. Let me just clear this here so that we can see. Right. So this is 90 degree here. Again, radius perpendicular tangent. Sm, which is same as Nm, perpendicular to PS. So that means gradient of Nm times gradient of PS must be equal to -1. Why? Because radius is always perpendicular tangent. We can find out gradient of Nm. The gradient of Nm will be equal to -3 minus 5, or -6 minus 12 is +12, which you get -4 over 3. If you simplify it, -8 over 6 is -4 over 3. So from this, -4 over 3 times gradient of PS must be equal to -1. from this gradient of PS will be equal to positive 3 over 4. Now we have a point as well, point K is on this line, so we substitute point K, so negative 5 is equal to negative 17 times 3 over 4 plus C. From this C value, 31 over 4. Okay, if you use your calculator, you're going to get equation with y is equal to 3 over 4x plus 31 over 4. This was the answer to 4.3.2. Now let's get to next question. Quadrature PSMR is drawn. Calculate the perimeter of PSMR. In order to get this, we already know two sides, which is SM and MR, which is 5, 5. Okay, we just need to find out the length of PR and PS. So since coordinates, this PR is parallel to x-axis, x coordinate is unknown, but y coordinate will be negative 8. Okay, because it's a straight line which is parallel to x-axis. And we just found out equation of this line as 3 over 4x plus 31 over 4. Y is equal to, I can figure out coordinates of P by substituting the coordinates of P into the equation. Let me change the color so that I can, let's change the color here, 4.1. So if I substitute here negative 8 for y in that equation and 3 over 4x plus 31 over 4, negative 32 plus, or negative 32 minus 31 is plus 63. Negative 63 over 4 is equal to 3 over 4x. So if you divide both sides by 3 over 4, you get negative 21 is equal to x. So from this, PR will be equal to negative 8 minus 21, which is equal to PR is equal to 15 units. After you find PR is equal to 15 units, this side will be 15 units as well. PS also 15 units. Why? Because 10 from same point. Same point. Okay. So that's going to be 15 as well. So perimeter of here, perimeter will be 15 times 2 plus 5 times 2, which is equal to 40 units. Okay. Is there any questions? Is everyone okay? Now, last part of this question here is ratio of area NPS. NPS and quadruple QSMR. Okay, this is a very simple question as well for 2 mark question. Let's try this down here. If you just draw, again, let me clear this side so that you can see easily what we're talking about. If I draw triangle PNS or NPS, as you say, NPS would be this, NPS, this angle is 90 degrees here. We just found out that PS is 15, NS was 5 from previous question. This area will be 1 over 2 times 15 times 5 also, or area of quadruple. Since we don't have a formula for quadruple, you can divide this triangle into 2, right? This triangle and that triangle here identical. So there are 2 triangles identical. So we're just going to multiply by 2 times 1 over 2 times area of the triangle is 15 times 5. Okay. So that's going to be 1 over 2 divided by 1 over 3 is gone. 15 over 15 is gone. 5 divided by 5 is 1. So final answer will be 1 over 2. Okay. That was the end of this question here. Let's see now what they are about analytical geometry of straight line for our next question. Okay, so in the diagram, the equation of line AF is y is equal to negative x minus 11 is given. B, a point on the x-axis, is the midpoint of the straight line joining A, negative 1 and C. Angles of inclination of AF and AC are alpha and 63, 43 respectively. AF cuts the x-axis in E. D is a point such that DE is parallel to AC. So that means calculate the value of C. So in analytical geometry, if you're looking for a coordinate, you can always substitute by coordinate for a given point into the equation of that line. So you can see that A is a point on this line, FA. So that means I can substitute 3.1.1. I can substitute P for Y in that equation is equal to negative X, or instead of X, we'll use negative 1. So the X is negative times negative 1 minus 11. So if you solve the equation here, P will be equal to negative 10. So 1 mark for substitution, 1 mark for answer. It is 2 marks. Size of alpha. Alpha here is angle of inclination of line FA. Okay. So if you look at the formula sheet, M is equal to tan theta is the formula which is given. So M is gradient of this straight line, which is coefficient of X, and theta is alpha here. So if I write down here 3.1.2, all you have to say is negative 1 is equal to 10 alpha. So if you do this, shift 10 negative 1 in your calculation, it's going to give you alpha is equal to negative 45. But negative 45 is the direction of the angle. It actually gives you this part of the angle here. This is normally 45 degrees. Since it is below x-axis, calculator shows us negative sign, negative 45. But we want alpha, which is above x-axis. Therefore, we need to add here 180 to get the positive alpha. So it's going to be 135 degrees. Okay. 2 marks. Again, 1 mark for writing down substitution in the formula, 1 mark for the answer. 3.1.3. Gradient of AC, the nearest whole number. Okay, gradient of AC to the nearest whole number. There are 4 different ways of finding gradient. Number 1, y is equal to mx plus t. Okay, m is the gradient. Number 2, m is equal to tan theta by using the angle. Number 3, by using the 2 points like y2 minus y1 or x2 minus x1. And number 4, from parallel line or perpendicular line. So it's always one of these. So whenever you need to find out the gradient, and this question is always there, like distance, gradient, midpoint, equivalence, it's 6 questions. Look at this AC, we only have 1 point. We can't use number 3. We don't have parallel lines or perpendicular lines. We can't use number 4. We don't have equation of line, so we can't use equation. So it has to be number 2. So number 2 means I can use angular inclination of this line here, which is 63. So gradient of AC will be equal to 10, 63, 4, 3. And then if you use this, if you use a calculator, shift 10, or not shift 10, just 10, 43, 10, 63, 43 will give you 1,999, so it's going to be 2. Okay, so the nearest whole number, that means we get 2. Again, it's 2 marks. 1 mark for substituting in the formula, 1 mark for the answer. 3.2. Determine the equation of AC. Again, equation of AC, we need a point. We just found out in the previous question. Coordinates of A was -1 and -10. If you substitute in the equation, -10 is equal to 2 times -1 plus C. We can find out value of C. From this, C will be -8. Then equation will be 2x minus 8. Again, 2 marks, 1 mark for finding C value, 1 mark for the answer. Our next question is calculate the coordinates of C. Where is C? As you can see in the diagram, B is given as B, a point on the x-axis is the midpoint of the straight line joining in. So this is midpoint. Coordinates of B, since B is x-intercept of this equation that we found in the previous question, let's just find the coordinates of B first. So x coordinates unknown, y coordinates we know that this is 0. So if I substitute 0 for y in this equation, we'll get the x coordinates. So x is equal to 8 over 2 is 4. So this means coordinates of B will be 4 and 0. So then x coordinates A, if this is like xc and yc, okay. So -1 plus xc over 2 must give us 4. -1 plus xc is equal to 8. Then xc is equal to 9. Then same thing for y coordinates. So -10 plus yc or 2 must give us 0. From this, -10 plus yc is equal to 0. Then yc is equal to 10. So from this, coordinates of C clearly is 9 and 10. Okay, or you can use translation, like after you found out coordinates of B, look at this, 4 and 0. From -1 to 4, it's 5 units to the right. So from B to C, if you go 5 units to the right, you'll get to 9. Okay, coordinates of C. It's like from A to B, the coordinates were -1 and -10. It became 4 and 0. So from B to C, you can see that 5 coordinates, 5 units to the right for x coordinates. So from 4 to 5 units right, Q is 9. -10 to 0 is 10 units up, 10 units up. So from 0, 10 units up, you'll end up with 10. Okay. So basically the formula was like x, y to x plus 5, y plus 10. Okay, that is alternative solution. If you didn't see the first one. This was 3.3.1. Next question, the size of FED. Again, to solve these kind of questions, FED is here, this part, right? It is not angular inclination of straight line, ED, but we have parallel line, so I can find out how many marks is it? 3 marks. I can find out angle FAD, which is this angle. So that's going to be an alternate angle, DEA. Okay. So how do you find FAD? The vertical opposite angle, this is 63, 4 to 3. So this was 45 or exterior angle is 135. So we can find out 3.3.2. If EAB is equal to 135 minus 53,43, leaving its exterior angle of triangle. From this, EAB will be equal to what's it? 135. 71,57. And then after you get this angle here, 71,57, this is also going to be 71,57 because of alternate angles. So you can say DEA is equal to 71,57 alternate angles. And after that, we can get to FED. FED is equal to 108,43, leaving its angles on straight line. All right, next question. For a formal question, it says G is a point such that EAGC in that order is a parallelogram. Determine the equation of a circle centered at G and passing through the point B. Write your answers in the form of x minus a squared plus y minus b squared. The G is a point such that EAGC in that order is a parallelogram. EAGC. 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 So G will be somewhere here. Okay. If I clear this up a little bit. So we follow this order here. Right, in the same order, EAGC, E, A, B, C. Okay. This is a parallelogram. Determine the equation of a circle centered at G and passing through point B. Point B. Coordinates of B was 4x, 4x, and then 0 was for y coordinate. Now, since it is a parallelogram, I can write down again the coordinates of G, or we can find out coordinates of Gy, because coordinates of, did we have coordinates of E? We can find out coordinates of E easily. Why? Because that is y-intercept of, x-intercept of that equation. So 3.4, 0 is equal to negative x minus 11. From that, x is equal to negative 11. The coordinates of E are negative 11 and 0. So this means when you draw diagonals here in a parallelogram, diagonals bisect each other. So midpoint of EG and midpoint of AC will be equal to each other. Okay. So what was the coordinates of C? We got that as coordinates of C, where did you find 9 and 10, right? So negative 1 plus 9 over 2 must give us negative 11 plus GX over 2. From this, xg will be equal to 8 plus 11 is 19. So we just got the x coordinate. And then how do you get the y coordinate? 0 plus yg over 2 must give us negative 10 plus 10 over 2. From this, yg is equal to 0. The coordinates of g are 19 and 0. The circle is passing through point B. So this is the circle that we're talking about. passing through B and center G. We just found out that coordinates of G are 19 and 0. Then we can find out the radius, which is GB. R square will be equal to 4 minus 19 square plus 0 square, which is equal to 225. Equation of circle will be x minus 19 square plus y minus or y square is equal to 225. Okay. 1 mark for finding 225, 1 mark for finding negative 11, the coordinates of U, 1 mark for 19, and 1 mark for the equation. That's all 4 marks. All right, thank you guys. That was another end of another geometry lesson. You can have the geometry. See you next time. Stay safe.